We live. Happy Thursday. Um, I decided to come on. For those who don't know, tomorrow's my birthday. Okay, so I just need y'all to know that. I probably will be in the streets. I will be letting people know where I am. So I just decided to come on and answer a question that Lisa had yesterday. Shout out to Lisa Snowden. She's in the group as well, and she's the owner of Zen Notary Business Services in Fuquay, North Carolina. I think I'm saying that right. And I decided to go ahead and get these documents together and prep for tomorrow and answer it. So the question she had was, give me one second. All right, we good. Okay, the question that she had was, what to do when your signer is all over the place. So basically, a signature was missed, and the signer was up and down. And she said, they kept leaving the table and coming back, and you know, and that kind of plays into that. So, and she asked me, what do I do? So, it really depends. After 500 closings, this is 500 different scenarios that can happen. Majority of them, I can say 80 to 90% of them run real smooth. Now, you do get those signers who are preoccupied, whether it's with their pets or their children. Some of them be on the phone. I had one where they just didn't want to be in the same room with each other, so they was just really getting aggravated. So you got to understand, like, your business. So in my mind, when I go there, you got to keep in mind that they made this time with their title company or their lender. They set the time. When I go there, that's why I put those tabs on there, because when I tell them we have this much more to go, I don't have to go into detail. We got to really get through this. Now, I personally give each closing an hour. If it takes more than 35 minutes, I'm looking at my watch. Not the deal, but I'm just like, wait, what time is it? Are we still here? So, um, if you have a signer, for instance, I had one where the dog kept crying. They put up the dog for me. I appreciate it. But the dog kept crying, and the lady had to keep getting up and go see about the dog. Okay, so I had to let her know. It wasn't really bothering the signing, but by her getting up and down, she was interrupting the flow. When I say let's get started at the table, I just need about 35 minutes of your time and we can get this done. When she kept getting up, I just politely said, um, we really have to get through this. I'm not trying to, I understand you got to handle the dog. You're not your dog, the dog. I didn't say the dog, okay? I was like, I know, they said the dog name because, I know wasn't quite as worried about it, but I really have another closing that's after this, and I really want to make sure this is done correctly the first time. You need to put it back on them. That's what you do. You give it back to them. You let them know that you got something to do. But um they want these documents done right. That's what they're gonna have to do. I done had people at the table with their animals. I had people at the table with their kids at the table, and their kids about to mark up my loan documents. Your job as a loan signing agent is not just to get signatures. You have to also control the room. When you walk in there, again, it's a lot of burden on you, but you also have to let people have responsibility for their own stuff. When I get there, I'm there to connect. Child, let me calm down. I'm there to conduct business. So if I'm there, I'm your guest, but I am VIP because I'm not trying to be there as longer than I should. That's another reason why I check documents in my car. Because when you go into a house, sometimes it is chaotic, especially afternoon um, closings. People are just getting off work, they're just getting dinner done, and things of that nature, their family. Okay, so you got to really get in. And these are our neighbors. These are not just people, these are our neighbors, these are people in our community. We don't travel far. Well, I don't, 30, 40 miles maybe, but mostly it's just 10 and 20. So it's in my immediate vicinity. So if you have somebody, if your signings are taking a long time, It's so many scenarios. I had a guy with Parkinson's disease. That took a long time, and it kind of ran over. That's why I say when you're doing your scheduling, you got to do this for you. So I didn't know he had Parkinson's. When I got there, that's when I found out. You won't know none of this until you get there. It's not a memo that you get beforehand and say, "Hey, this is going down." They got a farm in their house, um, and they're gonna need all this. It's not like that. You find out when you get there. So you have to have a system in place. You can't go in there and somebody like they house dirty. If their house is not clean, they have a lot of animals. You can't go in there and be like, you can't do that. You gotta, cause you're a business person, and everybody gets one of these. Got my card on it, so I always try to put my best foot forward. So you gotta learn how to handle that. How will you handle that? Me personally, if you're going outside that hour, or if I see at the 15-minute mark for me, if I see that you're going, I'm going to have to let them know. I really do have to get to another closing, because if you don't, then your next closing you're going to be late. Nobody don't want to hear why. They really don't, So um, take control of the closing. When you get there, you don't have to be super aggressive. Some people are, but you let them know again, if you want this done correctly, I really need these documents done. We do need to focus, because if not, this will hold up the closing. If you say hold up the closing and they doing a cash out, child, they gonna pay attention. Just say the right words, just keywords. Hey, I know you got something to do. I know you're busy, but if we don't get this done correct tonight, it will hold it up. Some people been working on their closing for months. They're not trying to hold this up because they can't sit down for 2 minutes. Now you do have certain situations where people just, I've seen it. I don't want to say too much, but they move around. I don't know if it's a issue. I don't know, and they can't really sit down. And they had me about to scratch because I was like, okay, you need to sit down, but I couldn't, and I just sat there and you roll with the punches if you can. So just have empathy, but most of your closers won't be like that. But you have to take control of your closings. Don't let people do whatever they want to do. It is your time. Time is money. And if you're late, you work for yourself. People who start getting into this closing thing and start working for the title company, you work with them, not for them. Everybody keep reverting back to the employee mentality. No, you are responsible for you. Those title companies and stuff don't want it. You're making partnerships. You don't work for them. You sign a W-9 form. Okay, not a W-2. So again, you have to keep that mentality when you're building your business. This is yours. Again, some people need to really factor in travel time between closings, because that is very important. And again, you keep time. If you see people, this don't happen a lot. That's why I really don't like reverse mortgages, because they take so long, because you're dealing with a demographic that's elderly. That's why I am so happy that they're finally doing the Ron and things like that, because everybody keeps talking about fraud, but what about the people? What about the elderly? Why they have to sign 50 times? That man with Parkinson's disease, they really hurt my feelings, because he was really trying. You also got to keep in mind, some people, when you're dealing with that, again, you don't know until you get there. That's why time is very important, because I've recently been having a lot of individuals that were their health isn't the best, and they have to take their medicine before I get there so they can complete the closing, because the medicine will keep them up. So you got to keep that in mind when you're doing closings and making sure you're on time, because people tell you when you get there, you'll find out, and people put you tell you business. You get people uh cash out refis. Most of them I had people who get into divorce and they don't like to be around each other, and you can tell. And if you tapped in, you're gonna feel that vibe, but you can't get into it. You gotta make sure. That's why I say it's a lot that go in the loan sign. It's not just oh, I'm going in, I'm getting the documents, I'm making money. You're part of people's lives, no matter how you for just that 45 minutes. So again, you got to really have your mind and everything covered and focused when you're going in there. Errors happen most of the time from talking. I listen. You get in people's house, they offer you something. It's some North Carolina got some really beautiful people. They really are nice. I'm from Miami. I'm not saying we ain't got no nice people in Miami. You know we do. But North Carolina got some nice folks. They got that hospitality thing on lock. So you may want to talk, but don't. Stay focused until the closing. Okay? Because if you start talking, you could be sitting right there and they forgot an initial right there in your face. And then you checked it and you still missed it. So that's why I say don't get too preoccupied. You can't be too preoccupied because you're the boss. So don't get into it. You gotta really separate yourself. Always be separate. Always. So check in the car if they got pets, because sometimes the pets be crying. I'll be feeling like, okay, let me hurry up so I can go because you hear the dog crying, or it's just it's a lot of different scenarios. You it's people. So don't go in there just like, oh, this gonna be like this. Just go in there. Hey, you may not have a table. I have been in places where they don't have tables. They have the little TV thing, and I don't like sitting on people's couches. You know what I'm saying? I gotta think about that. I just don't. And it's not because of anything, but I worked for Orca before. Okay, so I don't like couch. I sit at the table. So you go into very different environments. Don't just think it's just going to be one way. You got to be very, very versatile. You got to be accommodating. Customer service is key. That's when you go in there. Some people feel, I had somebody come in there, they thought I worked for the government because I had a stamp. Man, hey, you meet all kind of people. So, um, just take control in there. Again, you don't have to be mean. You don't have to have an attitude. Give it back to them. Just be like, hey, in order for this closing to be successful, we have to. I have to get everything together, and we have to focus. Sometimes I have it where if it's a small child, some people really just love their kids and let their kids do whatever they want. That's fine. One parent will go and handle the kid, and then the other one will come, because that happens when you have a two-person signing, but only one borrower. The borrower is going to sign more documents than their spouse. So you think about that as well. So again, you want to be accommodating, but you have to set that time for yourself, for you. That's why you must tab, because tab is a silent timer. They can see it and be like, well, we got all that to go. Yes, let's go. So that that's it in a nutshell. Just when you go in there, you make sure. I mean, you ain't gotta go in there bossy. I'm a guest, but I take it as I'm VIP. So give me my time. I'm gonna make sure your documents done correctly and give you a great signing experience. Every signing experience is different. Please don't think it's the same. The only thing that should be the same is how you uh, close, making sure your documents is in a certain order, and making sure that your uh, you checking signatures is the most important. I Most people like, well, don't leave the table. Sometimes you don't want to sit at the table. Sometimes you got people that come in. I had one where I was waiting for people when they was signing. I wouldn't say it was chaotic, but what I did was I had everybody going in a circle and I made sure I was going clockwise. So wherever they got in at, that's where we was going, because I had about five different people there. And those people who know, they know what type of signing we talk about, and they just coming in there, all different people in there. So you have to be in control, because after you leave, they ask them, well, how was your signing? They're gonna ask us closer that. They're gonna ask them. So, and they'll be like, well, yeah, she handled all this, because that's one thing they can say about me. I got this under wraps. So be confident. That's why confident is a big thing. When you go into situations, you never want to be so nervous. You got to be in there and take control of the situation. Ain't nothing to be scared of. It's not a lot of closes that happen like that, but you do get them, and you try to roll with the punches. Always give yourself an hour. If you feel like your closes are taking too long because you explaining your documents too much, then that's not a problem. We can go over documents. Again, you don't want to say too much, but it's not a race. So don't, just because I did it fast don't mean you gotta do it fast. My quickest signing was closing was 16 minutes. You'd be like, damn, I know, right? But again, they already seen their documents. It was, I think, an expired packet, probably 108 pages. Everybody know probably 18 of them pages is directions, and it's already tabbed up and they ready to go. You get people just like that. They seen it. You got to understand it's not always horror stories. Again, some people are just not, they can't see it. They computer. I get a lot of older folk. So they see stuff on their phone. So when I print it for them, they happy that they get their copy because they be like, wow, thank you. And the reason that they pack it come in something like this is because it's easy for them. That's the only reason why. And plus, is I like this. It keeps it neat because I deal with a lot of them, and I'm getting that a lot now. So again, that's the good thing about Ron. The older people don't have to sign as much, and the sickly and the ones with MS, it be people with MS, all that, and that's a lot for them. One lady fell asleep on me closing, so that's how you handle those type of closings. If you have any other questions, do I got comments? No, I ain't got no comments. But if you have any other questions, feel free to email or comment down below, and I'll make sure I try to answer them for you. I do have a closing at 12 today. I have a closing tomorrow at noon as well. And yeah, I'll be working on my birthday, so I ain't gonna take too many, but so I'm just gonna set up these documents for today. They don't want no scan backs, they're just doing drop offs, so it ain't that bad. And it's an inspired closing, so those be the best because they're the same thing all the time. And what else? Hey, and I got two people. Okay, I gotta do my thing. Thank you so much for all my subscribers. I'm sorry, I be talking and I be thinking I be on the phone most of the time. Thank you for all my subscribers. I think I'm at 100, no, 970 almost. So thank you, and thank you for your views. I don't try to bombard your timeline too much, but if somebody have something to ask, and I know you guys are new, I do not have no problem answering any of your questions. So yesterday I had a 2-hour closing, and that was the first time that ever happened. That is my longest closing ever. And it wasn't because I was talking, but it was because, again, the person. Thank you, Miss Williams. I love your pictures. I love my love, my love. I seen them on my timeline. Um, he had triple bypass surgery. So his wife, but him, he had to take his time. And you can't be nervous because if you're starting to roll over now, if you see that you have a client and you see that it's going to run over, because what I do is if I have two signings back to back, meaning if I have one at 2 and another one at 3:30, you got to understand you have to give it an hour, the first one, and also you got to give yourself travel time. So I map it. If I start, I already know what time I need to get out. I say to myself, okay, I need to be out here by here. 15 minutes prior to that time, I'll step out for a call because I'll let the signer know, hey, I got to call them and let them know that I'm going to be a little late. So that's what you need to do. And if it's the directions that you got to call a title company, this, that, and the third, then do that. Okay. But always call the signer that you're going to be late to. Don't and let them know, hey, I'm running over a little late. I always ask permission if I can still come. I just don't automatically assume. I say, I'm sorry I'm running a little late. This close is running over. And you buy yourself a little time. And most likely they like yes. So don't be nervous about that. So make sure you handle that. You got to be in control. I think a lot of these questions that come, they just not asking. You guys are not feeling confident, like you scared to make a decision. No, do that. And then you be like, well, they said I couldn't do this. They said a lot of things. But at the end of the day, they want to be closed. The end game is to be closed and to be closed correctly. Okay, that's the end of the game. Now, if you want to stack them correctly and all that, okay, we got you. We'll do all that. But the goal is to have a great signing experience as well. Again, some people think you work for their agents. They talk to me, I tell them, I do not know specifics of your loan. I work with them, so not for them, so I don't. But if you want, we can call your agent, whoever you were working with, you can call them, and I'll call the person that hired me. That's exactly how they go. If the documents are wrong, most of the time you probably gonna have to go to title. If the numbers are wrong, you're gonna have to talk to lender. And I'm glad that now signing companies are being open. So when we call and have these questions, it's after hours and nobody not available. So I have seen a increase in companies working with us after hours or for our after hour closings because I get a lot of those. And again, never feel obligated to answer any questions about their numbers. Do not do that. Is this a good deal? No. Don't answer none. I don't know. Okay, so um, I think that's a major thing. Errors also come from if you see a document that you are not familiar with. Now, when you get a loan document, we sell them. I have some on mouseportvs.com. You get a whole packet. Letter legal, it'll explain to you whatever's in that packet, but you will go and you'll print them. Some of it has at least 30 pages of directions. You don't know what it is. That's why I want you to get loan documents. So when you see these, and I got a sale going on, you can buy it for my birthday. Yeah, you do that. You get 5 loan packets, all different kinds for one price. So like all of this right here is direction, like stuff that they're not gonna even have to sign. All that. That's a lot of paper. So you have to really know this stuff. So when you start going through here, like right here, I already know what's what. You don't have to do nothing with that. And that's why I say you need to know what you're doing. So once you put that to the side, then you have your critical documents and everything you have up front. You have to feel comfortable with the documents. Most people don't feel comfortable presenting them because they really don't know what they are. Okay, and that's fine. I didn't know what they was either when I first started. Never seen one, but I did what every normal person do. I'll get the documents. That was my thing. I was looking for somebody who was gonna give me real documents, not out of the book. I wanted to see the real shebang bang, and that's what we got. So when you look at the taxpayer's consent form right here, you will sit down and you read it. I had literally sat here and it say, we understand, acknowledge, and agree that the lender and other loan participants can obtain, use, and share tax information for purposes of one, providing an offer, two, originating, maintaining, managing, monitoring services, selling insurance, and scrutinizing a loan. Three, marketing, or four, as otherwise permitted by applicable laws, including state and federal. What? 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 Ugh. Taxpayers consent form, it gives your lender permission to use your tax information to help execute the loan. I'm not saying all that. And that's why you got to get your documents. So when you look at this, you know what it is. This is giving their lender consent to use their tax information. But they gonna put all this in there, baby. Ain't you can sit there and explain that, and that's probably why your sign is going. You just break it down again in your mind. You're the last person. They have an agent. They agent was supposed to go through this with them. Okay, don't have me working out of pocket. They agent do all that. Well, what is this? If they seen the document, some of this stuff is signed online. If you have a hybrid signing, the hybrid signing meaning they signed some documents online already, but some of these documents they need to have wet signatures, meaning they have to see somebody sign the documents. Most of this fraud comes from when you hear about fraud, it's because either A, the person didn't sign that they say signed, or B, they not making the money that they say they was gonna make. So they lying about the documents. And that's a lot of this verbiage is to make sure that they're not lying. So when you get your documents, you'll just read through them. Initial escrow discount disclosure statement. If you look at this document right here, this really just goes over their escrow. And they can sit there and they can read it, and it actually breaks down who their servicers is, who their property taxes go to. And if they ask you a question like, well, who are my property taxes going to? By you knowing the document, you looking at it, because most of these look the same, you can point there. You can do that. So that's why I say don't get so caught up in trying to tell them what the loan is and all that. You need to know the document. Again, first payment letter. If you ever seen a first payment letter, you will see. I gotta keep it back because it's live. Um, Again, they break down the payment. They'll be like, well, do I got PMI? What is that? Private mortgages insurance. Yeah. So some of them don't. Some of them do. Some of them, that's why they getting the refi, because they don't have to pay that no more. And it breaks down. So this is what I say. This is your first payment letter. Your first payment is due to October 1st, 2022. Here's a breakdown of your payment. You can sign a date to acknowledge. That's what they do. Again, don't be explaining all of this. You paraphrase that into one sentence. Everything should be one sentence. It should be one sentence. You should be able to read this and clock it up. Temporary coupon. Here are some coupons in your packet in case you want to mail in your form. Exactly. And mail in your payment, your first few payments, because sometimes they sell the payment, sell their mortgage, and they just mail it in because they can't really do electronic. Okay. Amortization schedule. Listen, it's all different type of signers. Okay. You get the one signer who just want to rush through. They already seen it. Give me what I want. Me and you friends. I take them. They'll sign. Then you got the signers who want to impress you by reading these documents, but they just want to make sure you don't think that they just signing anything. Then you got the ones who feel like they got to read every single thing and they skeptical of everything and everything's just a fraud. And then you got the ones who really they sign it whatever and they just want to talk to you. They just happy that you're there and they want to kick it and they ask you off the wall questions, and you can tell who what kind of signing you got if they try to read the amortization schedule. Listen, I had somebody really try to do that to me. And sometimes you have to laugh because buddy, if you gonna go listen, y'all know this your amortization schedule. This is how I explain it. This goes over the next, because some of this time is changed. It depended on the length of the loan, but this is a full 30 year. This goes over the next 360 glorious payments until 2052. Signing date to acknowledge. They're signing the date to acknowledge that they received this document. Okay? Consent to contact, optional. Now, not everybody has this consent to contact, and this consent to contact form comes in about three different versions, but this is the main one that Freedom Mortgages does. So, by clicking and signing this document, you consent to be contacted, including via automated technology by Freedom Mortgage and its current or future affiliated companies, collectively Freedom Mortgage, at the phone number, and it's optional. So I don't read that to them. I say this is the consent to contact. This is an optional form. I let them know. Are you do you want telemarketers? I mean, affiliates of Freedom Mortgage calling you? Most people say no, and I'll just say sign and date, and that's all they gotta do. I ask them that question. Okay. Um, appraisal acknowledgement. Now, this is okay when you start dealing with your loan documents and when you start doing a lot of closings, it's gonna really rub off on you what's going on and who does what, when, and where. Okay, so an appraisal has to be done on the home. Not all the time. Some people waive it. Some people have it done. But the lender is supposed to give them a copy of that before we get there. So this is an appraisal acknowledgement form. When you read this acknowledgement form, it says you are entitled to receive a copy of the appraisal report that is obtained on your behalf concerning your subject property at least 3 business days prior to closing of your loan. A copy of any of all such appraisal reports should be already delivered to you, allowing you at least 3 business days to review. So this is the appraisal acknowledgement form. This is just stating that your lender had up to 3 business days up to the day before today to get you that appraisal form, that appraisal to you. Sometimes we get large packets and they put that appraisal in there, and that is very annoying. So an appraisal can be a lot of pages and surveys too. So if you get a loan packet and it be like 200 pages, but it's just a regular refi, most likely probably 40% of that is fluff. That means extra stuff, and that's why you gotta go through your documents. Fact Act notice. Again, it's coming in a few different forms. I'm trying to put it in there. I'm gonna upload in the group today. But Fact Act notice, we the lender may report any information about you, your borrower's account to credit bureaus, late payments, missed payments, or further you not supposed to say none of that. This is in fact that notice. If you have any, wait, what I say? Yeah, I say the same thing all the time. If you have any late payments or default on this loan, your lender will report that negative activity to the 3 credit bureaus. I came up with negative activity, so when they hear the word negative, they're gonna be like, You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, I be on something else. Y'all don't even understand me. Occupancy statement. Now, sometimes it's coming legal, sometimes it's coming letter, but this one is in letter. And it just basically state that it's owner occupied. So occupancy statement is just saying that this is your primary residence. Sometimes it's in a second home, sometimes an investment property. You'll know it's an investment property most of the time because it's going to have a family rider on there or for them to collect rents. Again, when you read those documents in your free time, all the documents are the same. They just look different. So if you get a family rider, that means most likely they're gonna collect rent at their property. The reason that they need that is because they gotta differentiate the tenant from the owner, because the tenant is not the owner. And you learn that by doing this stuff. I mean, you're gonna learn it because you reading it and people you want to know. After a while you're gonna want to know because that's what you bring to the table, your knowledge, your efficiency, and that gives you more confidence. When you're dealing with this for a while, it gives you confidence. Like for me, I go in and out. Now, yes, granted, sometimes I do get besides myself and don't ever get comfortable, but I did do get comfortable and I be like, okay, I did this, and then I don't work in my systems. So and then I miss a stamp or a signature. I really don't like that. And that's why you treat everyone as an individual. Each closing is an individual closing. Don't be grouping them all. Oh, this is no. Everything you treat everything as it's your first one and your last, and you want to do your best. Okay, everything is just different. We can give you so many different scenarios, but at the end of the day, we're there to make sure that the loan closes. We're there to gain business because when I give you my loan, when I give them this packet, I get compliments on the packet, and then that opens up the door to say, "Hey, my card is there in case you need anything." I do get a lot of repeat businesses from my closings. I get wheels done. People still come to me to buy stuff, cash out, refi. They buying stuff. They call me. So you got to think like that when you doing business because that's what we're doing. Everybody just say we're doing closings. No, you're conducting business and you're building your business as well. That's why you got to look a certain way when you go in there. Sometimes I'll be looking rough, I know, but when it's time to go to somebody's place, you got to do what you got to do. So, and then you got one. This is a new document that's being put in. Majority of it, it's the lender's closing affidavit, and basically, it's just saying all the information they provided at the time of the loan application is still true. So it say, we know of no circumstances or events that materially adverse the effects of my financial position. Meaning, their financial hasn't changed, their marital status have remained the same as stated at the loan application. So you don't have to read all this to them. And again, if you just explain it, like if you read it and you paraphrase it, they'll paraphrase it too, and then they'll start trusting you. By mid signing, whatever you tell them, they gonna understand because now they know that you know. That's how you build up. You understand? Don't go in there just feeling like you don't know and you projecting that out. Don't feel that way. Because I'm telling you, I didn't know what I was doing the first time. Had no idea. I was they was like, don't do the point to click. I mean, not point to click. Don't do the point here signing. I was one of them in the beginning. And it was because I was nervous. It was because I did not know. I didn't know what to say. And I went again, like I said, wasn't a lot of training out here. And when I first started, it was, but I didn't know about it. And the ones that I did know about, it was a bit expensive, and I wasn't ready for that. So I learned the hard way. But one thing is, you just got to take time. You got to really want to provide a level of service. That's what really makes you stand out from somebody else. And right now, since it done died down a lot. You're gonna see a lot of notaries, they going back to work. They have to find other means of making money because again, the influx is not as prominent as it was in the beginning. And then once the dust settles, then wherever if where whoever's still standing, that's who's still standing. But you have to build a business. That's the glory in all this. You build clientels on your way up. And again, I'm focusing on foot traffic at this point for the rest of the year, trying to get foot traffic in. And if I can do that, that's cash money every single day for me. and I'm still doing loan closings. I have forged strong relationships with certain companies, and that's why my level of service is very important to me. I mean, I got to make money. You understand what I'm saying? So I want you guys to be thinking about that. Again, when you get your loan package, spend time with them. Again, you treat people as they want to be treated. Not saying that nobody don't. Again, if you don't like making errors, like for instance, if you had to drive 45 minutes, man, you better check your documents at the table and in the car 2 times. I'm talking about if you got to spread them across your dashboard, do that, because you don't. At that point, when you start, they not paying us enough. So if you ever have to double back and go again, you ain't making no money. At that point, you ain't making no money because out of gas and everything else, no. So that's why it's important to get to know your documents. It's important to deal with different things. So I think that's it. What time is it? Oh, it's 10:42. I'm just gonna set this up. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I got another documents for tomorrow, and I think that's about it. I don't have no questions. So, and I know it's during the day. We probably up and about. Uh, and I know some people ask like, where do you get these from? If you can use the link again, you can support the channel by shopping my store. This stuff is bought on Amazon. This is a priority for me. I don't like doing closes no more without these. I really do like them. So, and I kind of match them with the folder that way I don't have to, get confused because that was a thing for me. Um, I think that's it. So, other than that, I'll be out and about today. But again, if you guys got any questions, um, I am here for you. And you can join our Facebook group, NC Signing Agent Newbie Network. And there we share information, we answer questions. And it's for new signing agents in North Carolina. We really just focus on North Carolina because every demographic is different. Okay, and a lot of people don't be understanding that what's going on here is not going over there. So we just like to set the proper expectations and make sure. Hold on, sorry. Okay, sorry, I'll read some. um from there. So today I'm just gonna um finish prepping. I got some posts to do. Was I in the office yesterday? I had a closing yesterday, and then I had to do drop offs, and then I had 2 closings the day before that. So I do about 1 closing a day. That ain't enough, but to me, I if I can do five, five a day would be great. 5 a day at $100 a pop or more. Because most people be like, but everything that I do is in closing. Sometimes they send us with like 2 pages for $90. Sometimes they do 17 pages for 65. So for me, if I can do about 5 closings a day, I'll be good to go. That's 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening, and probably one around the afternoon. This don't take that long. Please remember also, I'm actually doing a post. I'm actually doing a video. I'm sorry, guys. I'll be taking so long. I'll be getting sidetracked. I'm sorry. Plus, it's my birthday month. Okay. So, about dropping your documents off. When you finish dropping your documents off, please, please, please make sure you drop your documents off because you have 24 hours after the closing to drop the documents off. So again, I had a closing at 7. I had it to 7 the next day to make sure it was dropped off. Everything is kind of closed at 7. Well, FedEx closes at 7 up here, and I go to ship centers. So never ship through a drop box. You always want to get a receipt when possible. Every time, because if anything happens, at least you can follow up. So never do Dropbox, never do Walgreens. Um, if you have truck drivers, now I'm gonna say this, and it may be a little controversial, but be in business. If you stay in a place, and again, I'm gonna repeat this: if you stay in a place where you do not have a UPS store, a FedEx store, or a ship center, or it's very far from where you live. But they do come to your Walgreens, they do come to your Dollar Tree, not Dollar Tree, Dollar General, I think. And they do go to gate, not Gates sometimes. But listen, you need to get to know your drivers and their routes. People take this stuff serious. Like them shippers, make sure they get it there on time. Okay, so get to know your drivers and get to know their routes. You need to ask questions. Who who say that? What can you catch at me? Somebody auntie. No, I can't cash up you no money. Cause I ain't no kid. No, what's your no? You supposed to cash up me. It's my birthday. I'm gonna put my cash up in the thing. You send it to your auntie, okay? And then after my birthday, I might see you some. What I was saying, if you don't have nobody to ship, you need to know your drivers, and they normally have the same drivers all the time, and you get to know them, and then you ask the proper questions, and those questions are, can you please know the schedule? When do you pick up? When should I expect this, that, and the third? And get to know them, because again, signing, if you don't live in a place that have those amenities, loan signing is going to be very costly to you, and you may not have a lot of work. So that's some of the things you got to think about. Is there a market, and if that market is sustainable for you? So you really want to make sure of that. I think that's it um, that I have for today. I ain't do too much. Again, I want to do more closings. That's my thing. So until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll probably be back on later if I get a question, and I'm sure I am. Um, I'm actually, hold on, let me go see. I don't know. I'm bored. I ain't gonna say I'm bored. It's always something to do, but I don't be live enough. So just give me a second and go to my studio. Cause y'all do be asking questions. See, I got 969 subscribers. I'm almost monetized. Hold on. Contents, comments. Let's see if I can go some comments. Oh, okay. Somebody wrote, okay, sorry, Technic, I had made a misspelling. Y'all gotta understand, I work on my phone. Jesus Christ, just let me know. Hold on. I think that it. I don't have no other questions. Let's talk about pricing. We can talk about that. Pricing is like this. Notary stamp is $10. To travel, we can charge up to the federal going rate, which is like 60 something cent a mile. Um, Arima paper, and I'm just going on the low end, and we talking about Walmart. Or if you find a discount place that may sell you discount paper, you may can get paper for like $5 a ream. Okay, I buy paper by the box, so we looking at like $34 a box probably right now. Yeah, so with inflation. So when you're setting your prices, again, you can't say, okay, it costs this much, it costs this much. You gotta understand, look at your competition. If UPS, and I use them because I can't use other small businesses, because other small businesses, people spend a lot of money with UPS and FedEx now. I mean, and Office Max. That's where people go. Like, but if you got like a small notary shop, they may be super, super cheap, but they may have large volume, and they probably already have a clientele where they can be cheap like that in UK. So I go like UPS. If UPS for black and white letter copy, I think they're charging 21 cent a page. I will probably do about 18 cent a page. You understand what I'm saying? Because until I start getting that walk-in traffic, I'll go lower. Okay, so you got to think about that. When you're doing a loan closing, you have different type of loan closings. You have loan closings where people just need you to come in. I've been to a loan closing where only thing I had to do was show up, be quiet, and stamp. That's it. $90. That's all I did. I didn't have to print nothing, and I didn't have to say nothing. So You have different kinds, but if what is your price? Your price. If somebody just came to you off the street, how much will it be? 125. If you printing, you got to take that in consideration. So if you're doing a loan closing for $75, maybe a hybrid, because you don't have to print that much. It's probably 70 pages. That means it's probably 114 because you got to print a second stack, and then you go there. That's how much it costs. So if it's really cheap in your area, say for instance it's saturated, and you really want to get your feet out there, you will take some compromising prices, $65, $75. But after a certain level, you can't do that, because it just won't make business for you. And that's why you're going to have to go to direct. And that's why you're going to have to set your standards a little higher, because lawyers will pay you $125, 150, 175, and you come to them for 90, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So you really want to think about that, your target market, who you talking to. You can run sales and things like that. Like right now, if you come in, I do print, scan, and email for $5 up to 10 pages. So if somebody needs something printed and scanned and email, I'll do it. And that's $5 cash, and most likely they need it notarized, so that's where the $10 come in at. You understand what I'm saying? So what's $5 done really turned into 15 or 25. You understand? So you got to really be thinking about how to market your business. It just can't be no one way. If you have a community and you got a community with a lot of immigrants, they be needing stuff. You need to be habla de español, Ni Hao Kailan, all that. You, I mean, you know what Ni Hao Kailan means. You got to do that, and you need to get out of your community and offer your services to them, especially the immigrants, especially places where they have a lot of jobs that's happening. A lot of people need their I-9 forms. So for me, I-9 forms are $25. You understand what I'm saying? So some people charge more. You understand? So it's out here. You just really got to go to those places and go to those people, and don't be scared. And you got to present your business. So, loan sign just a portion of it, just a portion. So a good portion, but you want that everyday money. You want that cash on deck all the time. Go after walk-ins and things like that. Go to the schools. Sometimes I sit out in front of the DMV, but DMV already got their notaries, just in case you don't know. They already got notaries. They get it all there. That's why when people be going on about the titles and stuff, they can go to the DMV and get all this done, notarized and everything. Now you come by me, it's a convenience fee, because now you want me to come to you. That's what people get charged for. Convenience. Come on. Why you think the closing costs be so high? Convenience. And other fees. So I just wanted to put that out there. And thank you so much, Lisa, for asking that question. It's very, very, I never really thought that. I don't know. I forget that y'all really, really knew. And me, I'm just here. When somebody asks a question, I'll be happy to answer, because I forget sometimes. And I think that's it. I'm gonna do a final count of how many closes I did. I know I'm over 500. So, yeah, I should have a shebang bang. I got a little box that do all that clapping and stuff. I just don't know how to work it. So, I guess till later, guys. See you later, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I didn't mean to stay on this long either.